then you write many things. So write what you notice in the first box in Act 1. Write what you noticed, what you saw. So if we think about that again, and you were watching that, I'm sure a lot of questions came to your minds. What was the question? Josiah, what's the question?
Why was he doing that?
Why was he doing that? Okay, yeah, why would someone be scooping a whole bunch of coins?
I do not.
What about another question? Mitchell?
How much money is it?
How much money was it? That was the first thing that came to my mind when I see money. I want to know how much it is. Another question. Alvar.
What was your best voice out there?
What is there what?
A peso.
A peso. I
Best.
don't know if I saw one, but maybe.
I've seen it. No. You're not allowed to use it. No, wait.
So, write a question. You can, oh, did you have another question?
Yes.
Yes.
Why do you have so much coins?
Why did he have so many coins?
Oh, God.
Did you rob a bank?
So, write a question. You can use one of the questions that were said, or write your own question in box 2.
Okay.
That says what questions come to mind. What questions come to mind? So you can write one, you can write many. Those first, you don't really have a right or wrong answer. It's just kind of what you're seeing and asking about it.
Oh yeah. How many? I wonder how much. Because on those things, like money gets stuck. So I want to know how much got stuck.
How much got stuck? Okay. Did you ask something, Bree?
Why was he scooping all the coins into the thing too?
Why was he scooping them? Yeah, it was kind of hard to even tell what that video was about. So after you write that, under those boxes, there's a spot that says main question. This is the main question we're answering. And none of you guys asked the main one, but it's how many of each type of coin is there?
Oh, Brian was almost close. With Brian. Mitchell.
How many of each type of coin is there? So as you write that, you look at the boxes under it. It says estimates that are too high and too low. So let's watch it one more time so we can come up with one. You guys got all three of them. Yes. What kind of coins were there? Was it all coins? Pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters? Was it just some of them?
Oh, just pennies.
Just pennies?
No, that's not quarter.
But there was a dollar coin.
There were more quarters.
There's
So-
a peso in there.
And then there were
So hold on. After you write that, on the back of your page says Act 2. I am going to give you some information. So when you're done, go on the back to Act 2. Do you have questions?
Yeah, what was the
Oh, the third one was what types of coins are there? Types of what? So on the back, Act 2, I'm going to give you some information. So I'm going to tell you there are 1,400 coins total.
How do you know?
Because I know. I already know the answers.
So we put that
On Act 2. We're on Act 2 now where it says record the information given. So the given information, 1,400 coins total. There are only pennies and quarters. Only pennies and quarters. And to answer your last question, the other one, the cash equaled out to $62. $62. 1,400 coins altogether of only pennies and quarters, and it makes $62.
You remember McDonald's with that?
So we know that a penny
No, you cannot.
is 1 cent, and we know a quarter is 25 cents. So, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to give you 3 minutes to see if you could figure out how many pennies and quarters there are. If there's 1,400 coins to make up $62. If someone can figure it out correctly, I will give you some extra credits.
Oh.
I will give you some extra credits. So there's different ways to do it. You can kind of do like a guess and check thing. There's mathematical ways.
62?
So $62, 1,400 coins. So spend a few minutes and see if you can figure it out. So you can work with the person next to you if you want. See if you can figure it out. You can figure it out. You know, quarter's 25 cents. A penny is 1 cent. Try to do it all in Act 2. Huh?
It's probably like
I
400.
don't know.
There's 400 pennies.
You gotta try to figure it out. Try to do it on your paper first. We'll see in a minute if someone got it.
400.
See in a minute if someone's able to get it.
I know. Let's figure out how many coins there are.
How many? We're answering the main question. Well, how many of each type of coin? So how many pennies? two variables, you have to have two equations. One equation is about the number of things, or in this case, points. We should be writing this still under Act 2. So if we're talking, you did something like this in math? Yeah. So if we have 1,400 points total, we know we have some pennies plus some quarters, some number of pennies plus some number of quarters equal to 1,400 points. That's one equation. The other is about the value. So if we know that a penny is 1 cent, how do you write that as a decimal? Do you know, Mitchell? So let's see, 0.10, that's like a dime, right? 10 cents. You know, Angie?
0.01.
0.01, nice. So we could say 0.01p. What's a quarter worth?
50.
So we 25 cents. So how do we write it as a decimal?
0.25.
0.25q. And we know it gives us $62. So once you set those up, it's like the hard work is over. I'm going to kind of erase this to give us some more room. So what do I multiply the bottom equation by to get rid of the decimals?
14. I don't have any pennies.
What do I multiply by, Josiah? Oh, sorry. Last module. Get rid of the decimals, Brian.
By itself? Wait, no, by 100.
By 100, because we're in the hundredths place. Because remember, if you multiply by 100, you do the decimal 2 times. Exactly.
What?
Instead of writing 1p, I'm just going to write p, because 1p is the same. 2 times 25q.
Misaki, this is module 7.
This is module 8. So be 8. 62.
She said last module.
So we're writing this. The multiplied by 100 part. Moving the decimal. So just to save a little bit of room, I'm going to kind of just get rid of that and push this one up. So I know this is kind of a complex substitution problem. We're going to do it. You guys are smart.
Ooh.
So you could change those to x's and y's and graph them like we've been graphing. That's a pain in the butt to graph 6,200. No one wants to do that.
No.
So we're going to use substitution.
Yay.
So first step in substitution, you have to isolate
A variable.
variable. Doesn't matter what you pick, but I look for the easier equation. Which one looks easier? The top one or the bottom one? I'd probably say that one just because this has bigger numbers. So, I'm going to write this here. Solve for a variable, doesn't matter what you solve for. I'm going to pick p, just for the heck of it. I'm going to solve for p, what do I have to do? Dominic, what do I do? Do you know?
What is P?
Solve for p, what do I need to move?
The Q?
That's plus q. And then remember, we talked about this before, you can't actually subtract those because they're not like terms. So let me get this side. P equals 1,400 minus q. What did I write this down? So, now this is where the really, really important part comes in. Really important part. If this is what I want you to understand. P equals 1,400 minus q. That means every P equals 1,400 minus q. So, you take this expression, and we're going to substitute it in the other equation. Now, when I substitute this, do you think I'm going to plug this in for P or Q?
Q.
Why do you say Q?
Because
says P equals. So that means you have to substitute it in for P. So instead of P, I'm going to write 1400 minus Q, the whole entire thing that P equals. Well, and then let me show you why this makes it easier. I still have my plus 25Q plus 6200. Now we can solve this because you only have one variable. That's how you know you plugged it in for the right thing. If you plugged that in for Q, you would have an equation with P and Q and you could not solve it. Our last module, you guys are good at this now. Combine like terms. What do you get if you combine like terms? Well, that's a negative Q plus 25Q. You know what it is, Brian?
A bigger number.
Huh?
You get a bigger number, that'd be
Well,
26.
but they have opposite signs.
Oh, so
Negative.
that turns it to a positive.
You subtract.
Oh, subtract.
Take the sign of bigger number. Sierra, what do you think? That's if you have a minus sign.
Or another.
Negative Q. That's like negative 1Q. You know what it is?
Negative 24?
It'll be positive 24. Remember, subtract. Take the sign of the bigger number. 1400 plus 25Q. Well, we're breaking it down. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why I tried. You're right. I'm sorry. I messed that up. Thank you. Thank you. Solving for Q. Circle it. Someone help me out. What do we do first? Connie, what do we do? Subtract. Not 24. Because that has 1,400. Yep. Remember, each side means each side of the equal sign. Those are gone. Still have this 24Q. Well, 0, 0. Borrow. No. 4,800. Last step to solve for Q. We're almost there. I know this is kind of a long problem. We're almost there. This is good. It's money, man. About money. What's our last step? Divide 24. Good. 4. This is how I solve the problems. I go, okay, 24 goes into 48 2 times. 24 goes into 0. 0 times. 24 goes into 0.
Oh, 200.
We have 200 quarters. If we have 200 quarters, can we figure out the pennies?
Yeah.
How many?
1,400.
Good, right there. 1,400 minus 200 gives you 1,200 pennies. So, where it says Act 3, write if you were correct or not, or how far off you were. And then let's see our answer. Hey, so don't miss the answer. It's going to be fast. It's going to be fast. Don't miss it. $200 quarters and 1,200 pennies. See? So, you guys are close, but that kind of shows you, rather than guessing and checking, you can use these